Welcome back, all. As we have a wonderful session from Dr. Harbin Singh, we have our next speaker. I'm just sharing the screen to you. Supriya Vaidya. So she's going to talk about the product psychology in the generative AI. So in terms of product psychology, obviously, in terms of AI, we have our lot of doubts what it, towards our privacy and all. So she's going to address, as you see, she has a great vast experience in terms of 17 years for IT leader working with the top-notch companies. And she's been a, wonderful leadership and agile coaching while pursuing so much things. She has been a Paul Evidence, a management professional and certified safe agilist. So I request Supriya to take over on the topic of product psychology meets AI. So how to create the products that are both user friendly and effective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shiva. And I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you very much for that excellent introduction. So good day all, and just bear with me until I share my screen and set up the screen for the presentation today. Okay. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes.
Yeah, Supriya, we can see.
Okay. All right, then let's get started. So has this ever happened to you? I mean, you think about exploring some product, you start researching what are the reviews, how are the ratings, what are people talking about that product, and the very next morning, you start seeing related content, advertisements, promotions, and a lot of things about this product that you were trying to explore. Does this sound relatable to anybody? Yeah, maybe you can use the chat box, okay? So it does sound relatable, right? Is it magic? Not really. This is exactly the fascinating energy between product psychology and AI. In an era where technology as well as the user demands are constantly evolving, understanding how users interact with your products as well as what motivates them to come to your products is super important. And this is where product psychology takes the center stage and AI takes this understanding to the next level. Over the next half an hour or so, we'll explore how the convergence of these two fields can reshape your product management strategy, making it more user-centric and, of course, revenue generating. All right, so let's take a quick look at the roadmap for our session today. We'll start by understanding product psychology and a few of the product psychology principles. Then we'll explore the importance of artificial intelligence in product management. We'll delve into some real life examples of the convergence of product psychology with AI. Next, we'll discuss the minimum viable approach to the convergence. Yes, this is a term that is inspired by a minimum viable product, something that I have coined. Towards the end, we'll summarize the key takeaways and open the floor for your questions. Also, you can use the chat the chat box throughout the session to ask your questions. I'll try to handle it during this section of the session or even after the session. And finally, we'll conclude the session with a big thank you. All right, so without further ado, let's dive into the first item of our agenda, understanding product psychology. Okay, so imagine that you're browsing the Myntra shopping app. Okay, what is Myntra? Myntra is India's largest e-commerce store for fashion and lifestyle products. Okay, so imagine that you are trying to search for a green hat for your son. So you start by entering that text in the search box over here and press enter. All right. And as soon as you press enter, you're presented with a lot of items, okay, which match green hat. You observe that none of them have a rating or review. So the logical next step is to filter the results with rating. We don't want anything below 4 points, right? So we select 4 to 5 range and click the apply button. Excellent. Now we are left with only 2 items. And out of these 2 items, you can notice that one of them has an excellent star rating of 4.9 stars, which means great customer satisfaction. Oh, what next? Only few items are left. So let's hurry. I need to buy this. Oh, and what is this? Excellent. I'm getting a free shipping. Wow, what's more? If I take a quiz, I stand a chance of unlocking a coupon. So without any more hesitation, I proceed to buy the green hat. So now I have a question for all of you. Right from the step of starting the search to clicking that buy now button, any guess how many product psychology principles must be at play? I'll just give you some choices because this is a pure guesswork that you'll be doing. Is it 1 product psychology principle, 2 or 5? Please put it in your chat box and let's see. What are your guesses? 1, 2 or 5 product psychology principles. Okay. Shripati Kaushik says 2. Come on, it's a complete guesswork. 2, 5. All right, nobody thinks it's a single product psychology principle. All right, so I can see that everybody thinks it is either 2 or 5 product psychology principles. So in order to reveal actually how many product psychology principles were used, let's dissect this step by step, okay? So I want you to pay attention to this 4.9 star rating, okay? What is this? This illustrates the concept of social proof bias. We tend to adapt our behaviors based on what others do or what others say or what others have to talk about this particular product. Okay, so this is the first one. Second, we encounter that after applying the filter of rating, there are only 2 items left. So this was simplifying my decision. This is an important product psychology principle called as the paradox of choices. More the options, harder the decision. Lesser options presented to the user, faster and quicker decisions. Now, this can be used both ways. Sometimes you want to reduce the options. Sometimes you want to present more options to your users. The third one, okay, now notice this alert indicating that only a few items are left. Now, this plays on the scarcity effect principle, creating that urgency. Okay, so people tend to value items which are in limited supply or scarce, and we start perceiving them as rare or exclusive. The fourth one is this free shipping banner for you. Okay, now when I started browsing, I was not expecting a free shipping, but now since I see it, I want it. This is the reciprocity principle. That is when I would say people are compelled to reciprocate when they receive something. And finally, this unlock a coupon by solving a quiz. What this does is it initiates that intrinsic competition that we have in ourselves, where, in challenging situations, we want to win. And this is nothing but the achievement goal theory. And in this case, the reward is also quite beneficial, right? A free coupon, quite valuable. So yes, those who said 5, of course, it was a complete guesswork. So it wasn't just 1, 2, but 5 product psychology principles at play that led you to purchase that green hat within a matter of few minutes. So that is product psychology. So yes, I think with the example that we saw of browsing on Myntra, that product psychology is the study of how users interact with your product as well as what motivates them to use your product. Okay, and incorporating product psychology in your product management in order to come up with features is very crucial. It can help the influencing the look and feel of your product, the workflows or the user journey, considering people's emotions, their behavior and thinking. In essence, it is a skill that acts as a bridge that connects the perceived user needs, the perceived user expectations with their actual needs. So purposefully incorporating product psychology in your product management strategy can lead to the design of products which are simple to use, solve the real problems that brought the users to your product as well as exceed their expectations. All right. So that was about product psychology. Now let's shift our focus to artificial intelligence and its importance in product management. Now, I would like to kick off this topic by showing you the statistics. Now, this is based on the Gartner High-Tech Product Management Score of organizational assessments. And what this is telling us, that only 21% of organizations use product analytics or in-product behaviors to drive their product decisions. This is extremely intriguing as well as surprising at the same time. The power of data-driven decision-making has always been underestimated. Data, metrics, analytics, AI is not something to be scared of. In fact, I would say after looking at these statistics and this great revelation, this is something that we should leverage to its maximum potential so that you can transform your product strategy and gain an edge over your competitors. Now, based on this insight from Gartner, I would like to clear some myths and misconceptions that are surrounding the use of AI and analytics. So we have seen some of this already in the previous sessions, but yes, I would like to talk about it a bit more. Okay. So first, AI replaces product managers. Now, this is a common misunderstanding. Let's agree that yes, AI is a powerful tool, but it definitely cannot replace the human aspect or the qualitative information that product managers bring through their daily interactions with the users, with the products, and with the market. Okay. Secondly, AI is too complex and expensive. I think this is a typical response that we receive whenever there is a new change that we want to embrace, right? And many believe that AI is not suitable for their products because of its complexity and its cost. And finally, AI replaces human decision-making. AI cannot replace human judgment. Why? Because AI is still under development and it is prone to errors. Secondly, AI does what we humans instruct it to do. Okay, so it is for us to responsibly and ethically use AI with the awareness of its limitations. So now that we have seen the myths, let's uncover the facts. Okay, so let's start. AI is not to replace, but it is to augment and empower your product managers. How exactly, right? So AIs can assist product manager in various ways. For example, together with AI, the product managers can analyze large data set to identify trends and patterns, which can help in building your product backlog in your roadmap. At the same time, together with AI, you can automate a lot of repetitive tasks so that the product managers can focus on the more strategic as well as creative tasks. Then secondly, coming to the complexity and the cost aspect of the AI tools. Yes, there was a time when AI tools were available only to the larger companies who had a substantial budget. But now there are more and more affordable and user-friendly AI tools that can be accessed by organizations of varying sizes. At the same time, there are many AI tools that have been developed specifically by keeping product managers in mind. Mixpanel, for example, is a great tool that can be used by product managers to use with the AI use cases. It has a lot of features. For example, it can create user segments based on the factors that you present to it. Secondly, it has an excellent feature called as funnel analysis, so that you can analyze the user journeys, try to identify the bottlenecks, try to identify those decision points where your users drop and those conversions do not happen. Okay. And finally, AI enhances human decision-making. It will not replace the human decision-making. When we make decisions based on data or based on any insights, it could be qualitative as well as quantitative. Generally, our decisions are based on the data that is easily accessible to us, that is easily seen to us. And AI will exactly help in removing this bias from our decision-making by going over and by scrutinizing huge amounts of data, different kind of data, traditional as well as non-traditional. So to recap, AI isn't our enemy. It is a vital partner. It can take your teams to new levels of productivity and innovation. And also, when we are adopting this technology, okay, it's very important to have this mindset. It's very important to adopt this technology with an aim to empower your teams instead of replacing them. Yeah. So that takes us to the next slide. So we saw that, yes, AI is definitely the biggest ally of product managers. So now we'll see that how AI can be a partner of the product managers. So it is through this 4 use cases or 4 applications of AI that I would like to talk about. Okay. So first is anticipating user needs. So let's say natural language processing or NLP can be used to dive deeper into the user data. Now, what user data am I talking about here? It is, of course, the traditional user data, which we get in the form of user surveys or the feedback or the CSAT surveys that we send, as well as there is a lot of non-traditional user data in the form of reviews, ratings, the comments that they post on social media, and other different social media interactions. So we can use NLP to gain insights from this user data. And let's say this can be utilized to fine tune the chatbot so that we can better serve the queries of our customers. Moving on to optimizing product features. When I talk about product features, this is both functional as well as the non-functional aspects of the product features. So machine learning can be used to develop algorithms for fraud detection, which will predict or which can prevent these fraudulent transactions beforehand. Another use case could be machine learning can again be used to dive into vast amount of data, mainly the product usage metrics, such as feature adoption, feature engagement. What is the monthly users, okay, for your product? How about the conversion rates? And it can help in building products and features which we can, which will help us in increasing the retention and the revenue. They can guide us in prioritization as well as fine tuning of these product features. And this will ensure that you allocate the resources to the right features, as well as determine which areas to invest and which areas not to invest. Third is enhancing personalization. Okay. So AI can take the user segment personalization to the next level by individual usage patterns, okay, recommendations for individuals. This level of personalization will not only increase the user satisfaction, but this will also help in retention. Now, I'll give you an example of personalization from one of my previous organizations, John Deere. Okay. And here, the personalization feature that the team had demonstrated was that imagine a customer logs in. The very first welcome screen that the customer is presented with, it was personalized. The image as well as the theme, the fonts that are presented to the customer are based on the location from which the customer is logging in. So imagine the impact that it will have on the customer. And finally, I have this application of AI, which is realizing market opportunities. So how can we do this? AI can help in suggesting what are the right user segmentations that we can do. And then before releasing a feature, it can help us minimize the risk associated with it by performing A/B test, then using this data to understand in which market, in which user segment this feature should be released, which it should not be released, where we need some other features or some other enhancements to the product. Okay, and this is how it will shape your marketing strategy. So while these are very few applications of AI in product management that I have shared, as AI continues to develop, I'm sure that we'll see even more innovative and transformative uses. Okay, So that takes us to the next topic of this session today. So I think we have all heard this famous saying that the sum of the whole is more than the sum of the parts, right? So let's explore some real life examples where we see the convergence of product psychology as well as AI together. Okay. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm trying to do some adjustments in my screen here. Yeah. All right. So let's start with this example of Amazon product listing. Okay. So I want you to concentrate here. Okay. When you see the original price of the product struck through number, okay, next to the sale price, your attention is anchored to this discounted price, making it seem more appealing, right? You automatically feel, oh, wow, I'm getting a 42% discount. That's great. Similar tactic is also used in subscription-based services, where a basic plan serves as an anchor, making the premium plan appear like a reasonable upgrade. Now, this marketing strategy is driven by a product psychology principle called as anchoring bias. It involves using a reference point to influence the user behavior. Okay, and now let's explore how AI takes this marketing strategy to the next level. Here again, machine learning algorithms can be developed to create a optimization machine, okay, or engine that can determine what is the most effective anchor price. And how it will determine this effective anchor price? It is by scrutinizing, let's say, the prices for the similar product by competitors. Okay, what has been the sales history for this product? What has been the customer's price range when they are buying on Amazon? Okay, and what's more, AI can also allow these anchor prices to be dynamically updated based on the market situation, based on the season, based on the different events, let's say, that Amazon is trying to launch. So this was first example of anchoring bias. I will say another example of anchoring bias, which all of you can, immediately see, is just log into Netflix without your login. Okay, as a completely new user, just try and log into Netflix. You will see there are at least 3 locations on the Netflix home screen, which will anchor you or which will direct you or which will frame you to subscribe to Netflix. Yeah. Moving ahead. Now, what is this? This is the YouTube home screen. Okay, so as soon as you launch the YouTube home screen, you are presented with a vast array of video options spanning different genres. Okay, some are even unrelated subjects and some catering even to different age groups. I would compare this experience of the YouTube home screen to that of scrolling through a grocery store and going to the cereal aisle with so many brands, flavors, and types of cereals to choose from. Okay. And as you try to make a decision to buy one of the cereal, I may feel anxious and stressed. Okay. And I may just even leave the store. Or in this case, I may exit YouTube without clicking on any video at all. Okay. So any guesses? I think we have seen this product psychology feature when we started the product psychology introduction. Anybody? Which is this product psychology feature principle? We have seen this already in our Myntra app example. Okay, I see it moving. Is it digital marketing? Is it social? Okay. So this is again the paradox of choice. Okay. So we had seen that whenever we offer too many choices to users, it can, cause an overload, or it can cause the users to feel overwhelmed, frustrated, and ultimately leave the product or service. Okay. But AI can combat the paradox of choice by narrowing down the options. Here's a content, or, it can create a content recommendation system that can categorize and filter suggestions based on, let's say, different user segments, based on the categories or demographics like age, gender, occupation, and location, or based on the subscription type. Okay. What's more, how to determine that what is the exact or the right number of choices that should be presented to the user? We can use automated A/B tests to perform these tests. That, let's see, if we reduce the choices, are we getting better engagement? If we increase the choices, are we getting better engagement? Also, it can be used to recommend some of these filters that they can use. If you log into Amazon, right, from your mobile phone, you will see that they have the prime option as well as the rating, top rating option, right, at the top, available very easily for you to filter, right? So these are the ways in which the paradox of choice psychological principle can be combated by AI. Okay, here's a slightly different example. So what you see here is Vodafone Idea home screen, okay? And they are featuring a prominent offer at the top, and which is coinciding exactly with the start of the festival season in India, which typically begins in August, okay? And I want you to concentrate at the recharge now call to action, as well as the TNC apply notice at the bottom of the promotion, which is saying that the offer valid till 15 September to October 2022, 2023. Sorry. Again, I'll move to all of you for a question. Okay. Which psychology principle is this? We have seen this already. This is yet another example of which psychological principle.
Scarcity.
Yes, absolutely. Bang on. This is another example of scarcity effect. Okay. So let's see how businesses harness the scarcity effect in marketing. Okay. So we have already seen the scarcity effect capitalizes on our intrinsic fear of missing out and our aspiration to obtain items of limited supply or those available for a restricted duration. Okay. And then we start perceiving them as rare or exclusive. So how, in your marketing strategy or businesses can use this is through the usage of predictive analytics. Okay. You can forecast the specific trends or seasonal shopping patterns. Here, for example, it was, the proximity to the Indian festive season, that there are these seasons or these particular events are likely to occur. Okay. So this empowers the businesses to come up with these marketing campaigns. And to top it, there can be recommendation systems which, based on, let's say, the user's browsing history, their purchasing history, can start, recommending, start suggesting these limited time offers to the customers so that they will, to immediately start purchasing or immediately start subscribing to these offers. So these were some 3 examples of how product psychology as well as AI can really change your product management, your product design, your product marketing strategy. All right. So that takes us to the next section of the session. Okay. So now we saw only some 4 or 5 product psychology principles, right? What if I told you that there are over 100 psychology principles you can use to make your products more user-friendly? We saw the ones which are impacting the user journeys, but there are many principles which can impact the look and feel of your products. It can impact how the different elements on your screen should be placed, which elements should be grouped. Okay, so there are a lot, there's a plethora of information, plethora of product psychology principles that you can use to make your products more user-friendly. Does it sound like a lot? Yeah. And now consider or couple it with the rapid innovations in AI, right? Generative AI, for example. I mean, it is one of the hottest topic. Wherever you go, we are listening about generative AI. In fact, the summit was kicked off by this topic, generative AI, right? It is also at the top of the Gartner hype curve for 2020, 2023, and it is predicted to stay there for the next 3 years. And you have seen the advancement that generative AI has made in a short span. So which AI technique would you prioritize, right? Feeling a bit overwhelmed? So that's where the minimum viable approach for this conversion comes into the picture. Now, here is again, it's a suggestion. It's a possible approach that you can use to integrate the convergence with your product management process. Of course, there may be many more, right? Now, here I have tried to make it as simple as possible. It consists of 5 steps that you can easily follow. So let's dive into it. Okay. So this is the first and the crucial step. Define clear goal. Always start with the why. Try to answer this question. What are we trying to achieve by harnessing the power of AI and product psychology in our product management process? The answer that you get to the question is your goal. Okay. Some of the examples could be improving user engagement, increasing conversion rates, or enhancing user satisfaction. Now, this goal, these were just some examples, right? So your specific objective, your goal for including AI will depend on your unique product as well as business needs and your overall organizational strategy. But it's very essential to establish clear objectives, because this is what will keep you focused and this will help you to measure the progress effectively. Now, the second step, okay, is to understand the user needs. Now, to do this, we can leverage AI-driven analytics to gather deep insights about the user behavior. And I would like to say it's not only the quantitative insights, also ensure that during this step, you are also taking into consideration the qualitative insights, okay, which could be through direct interactions with your users. Okay, so once you do this qualitative as well as this quantitative analysis, you try to understand what are the challenges, what are the pain points that your user is facing. Now, the next part is choosing now the right product psychology principles that align with your goals as well as will help you to solve these challenges of the users. Okay, it's like fitting the pieces of puzzle together. So by aligning these elements, we can create products that resonate with your users as well as help us to achieve our business goals. Okay, now is the time to get creative. This step is all about brainstorming. Now get your cross-functional teams together, which could be your AI ML experts, your UI experts, your data analysts, all of them. Okay, bring them together to explore the different ways that AI can be used to implement the product psychology principles that we chose in the second step. Okay, but it's not about just some wild, producing some wild ideas. We have to make sure that these ideas align with the first 2 steps. That is the key to making these ideas practical and effective.
Sorry to interrupt, Supriya. We have
Yeah.
10 more minutes to wrap it up, the
Okay.
session, and then we'll take the question and answers.
Okay, sure, sure. I'll try to wrap it up as soon as possible. Okay, so moving ahead, this is the 4th step, which is about prioritizing and implementing this AI-infused features. Okay, so carefully prioritize which AI-infused features to include in the first iteration of your MBA cycle so that it has the maximum impact. Okay, now there are different prioritization techniques available, but in this scenario where you are trying to start change your product strategy, you're trying to implement completely new tools and technology, carefully select prioritization factors such as the resource availability and skills, technical availability, and so on. So once you have prioritized these features, you'll need to collaborate closely with your development and analytic teams. Yes, the cross-functional team enter again, because these teams will be instrumental in implementing the prioritized features within the product. Okay, and also ensure that these cross-functional teams get your support, get your direction throughout the implementation process, so that the main objectives of embracing these tools and technologies are met. And this step is the most important step for transforming your product strategy. All right. And finally, we have monitor and optimize. So what exactly do we mean by this step? Okay. We mean continuous vigilance, tracking, and tuning. Identify the right product metrics and set up dashboards so that you can keep a close eye on user data and product performance after releasing these AI infused features. Okay. And by monitoring data, you can identify areas for improvement, make data driven decisions, as well as this can help in ongoing optimization and a yet another cycle of the NPM. Okay, so this is the diagram which summarizes the simple minimum viable approach, a 5-step simple but effective steps, and it also emphasizes that this is an ongoing cycle. Okay, now to make the concept of the minimum viable approach clearer, let's dive into an example case study. Okay, so the example that I have chosen here is that how the synergy of product psychology and AI can significantly enhance customer support. Now, why customer support? Why did I choose customer support? Because this is a universal challenge that spans numerous domains from telecommunication, manufacturing, e-commerce, banking, finance, and beyond. And also at some point in time, we have been a disgruntled customer, right? So we can actually relate to this example. All right. So here's the first step, okay, which is about defining the clear goal. And for the case study of the customer support example, the goal that we have set is to elevate customer satisfaction while maintaining the cost efficiency of the support operations. And the key strategies to achieve this goal would be reducing the average handling time by ensuring that we are providing swift responses and minimal wait times for the customers, and increasing the first contact resolution by resolving customer issues during the very first interaction, eliminating completely the need for any follow-up. So moving ahead, this is the second step, which is to understand the user needs. Okay, so a mix of qualitative and quantitative research methods were used. For example, interviewing the users. Now, in this example, there are two set of users. One is the end customers who call your customer support, as well as the customer support representatives, which are using your customer support application. Okay, so both these users were interviewed. There could be visits to the customer center to see how the CSRs are using your application, right? As well as there were various metrics that were meticulously examined. Through this in-depth analysis, okay, there were these 4 product psychology principles that were zeroed upon. Now, how did we reach these 4 product psychology principles? It was based on 4 observations, okay? So the first observation was that the query resolution process was too complicated. It was creating a significant burden for both the customers as well as the CSR. That is the cognitive load. So we should always try to reduce the cognitive load on our users. Then it was also observed that there were very few closed tickets that had any feedback associated with it. Customers didn't have a way to share feedback, neither they were inclined to providing any feedback to the CSR. This is where it was decided to use the reciprocity to provide some incentives to the customer to encourage them to provide feedback. It was also observed that there was an absence of comprehensive database, or even if there was this knowledge articles, they were not updated. There was a lack of recent resolutions, FAQs, that was causing delays in providing quick solutions by the users. And that is the availability heuristic psychology principle at play. And finally, the CSRs were feeling less motivated, they were frustrated, and they needed some extra encouragement. So that's how the Lighter's product psychology was selected. That is to provide some unexpected, pleasant surprise to the users. So moving ahead to the third step, which is after identifying the product psychology principles, identify how AI can be used to implement these features. Okay, so through a cross-functional collaboration, these are the 6 features that were identified. The first one is customize one-click feedback. Okay, that is using NLP and NLP to create personalized feedback forms for the customer. A feedback incentive. Okay, so customers would get some reward or incentives which are similar to their purchasing habits. So whenever they provide a ticket feedback, CSR appreciation. So this was used to boost the motivation of the CSR. Let's say in a day, they were able to handle 5 calls and close the tickets in the first call itself, right? So this is a very nice personal milestone that the CSR has achieved. So why not provide appreciation prompts to the CSR as well as its supervisors to celebrate these small milestones? Fourth and fifth, which is ticket sentiment analysis and summarization, and ticket classification and routing, are on the similar lines. This is the usage of NLP with sentiment analysis to identify some keywords from the ticket to understand the exact problem as well as the emotions of the user, so that the CSRs can handle the queries better and not just follow some script. And finally, I will say the most important one, which is using adaptive learning algorithms to continuously enhance the knowledge base. Okay, so these were the 6 features from the 4 product psychology principles that were identified. Now, moving on to the 4th step of the MBA is to prioritize and implement. Okay, so which were the prioritization factors that were used here? It was the resource availability and their skill set. Very, very important, right? Whenever you are trying to start working with a new technology, understanding the risk associated with each feature and the availability of a mitigation, technical feasibility. It is something that we are actually able to develop. Okay, they should deliver business value and the ROI. Okay, so introducing these features in your product should definitely support and the growth of your product. Okay, so based on this, these are the 4 features that were prioritized in this decreasing order of the priority. First is the knowledge base enhancement. This will help both the CSR motivation as well as the cognitive load, both on the customers as well as the CSRs. The second and the third one, which is ticket sentiment analysis and summarization and ticket classification routing, right? So imagine, instead, if you're a calling customer, instead of explaining the whole problem, the CSR, the representative, already knows exactly what is your problem and starts working on the solution. Also imagine, you are getting moved from one person to the other, you're repeating what is your problem. Instead, you are directly routed to the right team and get your ticket resolved. Okay. And finally, the customized one-click feedback. This will help both in the customer satisfaction, gauging what is our customer satisfaction, as well as a motivation factors for the CSRs. So what is customized one-click feedback? Just, it is based on the channel that the customer is using to interact with you. Provide a simple link which has to give that star rating. Based on the star rating and the interaction with the customer, you can also, AI can be used to suggest the comments, the feedback as well, or the other way around, right? So these were the 4 features that were prioritized. And if you notice, they were all carefully selected to solve the challenges related to AHT as well as FCR. And the final and the most important step to understand that whether these new features that we have introduced, are they really helping in achieving our goal or not? There was a continuous tracking mechanism that was developed for AHT, FCR, as well as these other supporting metrics like the queue time, the escalation rate, the ticket rerouting, on-hold time, reopen rate, repeat contact rates. So these are examples of both business metrics as well as your product metrics. So this will guide that whether your features are really helping in solving that problem. Okay. So I hope with this case study, the minimum viable approach or how to implement or how to integrate AI together with product psychology is becoming clear. And we'll move on to the key takeaways and the Q&A. Okay, I hope I am on time. I'll just take another 30 seconds to share the key takeaways. Okay, so in conclusion, okay, traditionally we have seen product management. It is described by this Venn diagram which consists of these three circles, right? It has UX, tech, and business. Now, I will say these two concepts that we saw together, which is product psychology as well as artificial intelligence. These are extension of the UX as well as the UX as well as so product psychology is extension of the UX part of it, and AI is the extension of the technical know-how. Okay, and product psychology is really crucial. It helps in bridging that gap between the perceived needs as well as what are the true needs. And of course, AI can take your product management strategy to some new horizons. Okay, but it's really important to remember that start small. Okay, keep a close watch on your metrics and keep refining as you proceed. And finally, while these tools have immense power to shape the future trend, we have to use them responsibly and ethically. Okay, so that brings us to the question and answers. Okay, and I would like to hear if there are any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Supriya, for such a wonderful session. We have some questions already asked in the chat. I'll go through one of them. In
Okay.
legacy product organizations with monolithic architectures, what's the phased way to drive this AI revolution to make new age digital products?
Okay, I think that's a very interesting question. So I will say whether it is legacy or whether it is the latest technology, okay, and the minimum viable approach is also talking about this. Define your clear goals. Okay, why is it that you want to incorporate AI or product psychology in your monolithic application? I think both these concepts, product psychology as well as AI, they are, I think, not related to technology as such. It is more how you're going to use this, how you're going to support your existing applications by incorporating some of these concepts. Okay. And I think it will depend on case to case, and it's not really impacted by the technology.
Thanks, Supriya. There is another question. Is it needed to know all the principles of the product psychology?
Yeah, so see, of course, there are 105 principles, and probably I can share the link where we can gain understanding of the product psychology principles. But I think this is true with every subject, right? So always start small, try to understand as you, I'll tell you, as I started working on this, or as I was introduced this subject. Now, whenever I see any product, whenever I see somebody using a product, I start thinking, oh, which is this product psychology principle that is at play? And it's not something new. Okay, this has been used since ages. We are surrounded by product psychology. Okay, so I will say, of course, you cannot know everything, but eventually, slowly, as you start interacting, as you start having that mindset of understanding, oh, what is that? How, why am I being, my behavior is such in a particular product compared to in some other product, you will start understanding which psychology principle is at play. And in fact, I will say it's a very good skill that product managers can now start, gaining together with all the other that we saw.
Thanks, Supriya. There are so many comments, saying great informative session, and it would be wonderful session, knowledge and informative. So there is another question for you from Rekha. Is there a way for women working from home utilize it?
Okay, so I will say, I mean, I'm also a woman working from home, Rekha. Okay, so what I'll say is I think I didn't touch that part, but generative AI is something that I utilize, okay, a lot. It really helps. We have seen that in many sessions, and there are many trainings available on how generative AI can be used for research, how it can be used for training, how it can be used for gaining skills. So I think that is how you can use it. And product psychology, again, I said it's everywhere. Okay, so you have to identify what is it that you want to achieve and use the right product psychology principles. And of course, data and metrics can help you.
Hope that answered your question, Rekha.
Hope.
Is there anyone else wants to ask any question? If one last question we can take, and we can proceed for next. Is there anyone?
Shiva, I
Okay.
have one question for Supriya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Gaurav.
So, Supriya, what I've seen, like a lot of companies nowadays are actually blocking the AI, right, for the employees. So, what's your call on that?
Yes, I think, Gaurav, it is specifically generative AI, I think, that is being blocked. Okay. So, am I right there, Gaurav, or my understanding is
Yeah,
incorrect?
that's correct, right? Yeah, that's
Yes,
correct.
right. So, see, AI has a lot of key techniques. Something like it has, deep learning, it has machine learning, it has neural networks, it has generative AI is just one of them. Okay, I will say. So, yes, companies are blocking it. And to some extent, I will say I kind of agree to it. And don't kill me for that. But yes, why I agree to it is, it's like first understanding the basics. Okay, and then using chat gpt to propel yourself. Okay, and actually the main reason for generative AI being banned from the organization is because through asking these questions to generative AI, what we are doing, we are training the model. Okay, and how this model is getting trained by the information that you're providing to the model, right? So you may happen to share some information about your organization which should not go outside, right? And it will be used to train this model. So there are security and privacy considerations here, and that is the reason why generative AI is probably not allowed from organizations. So two reasons here.
Thanks, Supriya, got it right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav, and thank you, Supriya.
Yes,
And with this, I
Yeah,
okay, yeah, you
I'll
are
I'll
closing
just
your
yeah.
need
statement.
a
I
30
just want to
seconds.
share my thoughts.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Please, Supriya, you go. You
Okay. So
complete
yes, so
it.
I had saved the thank you for the end. So big thank you to the audience for attending the session, and of course the SS Agile Gurus, both Sharath and Satish, and all the facilitators for this session. So here on the screen, I have my contact email ID as well as a QR code for my LinkedIn profile, and I'm sure they have SS Agile Gurus have also shared it in the chat box. So I would really like, if you find the insights that I shared valuable, I would be happy to connect with all of you like-minded professionals over LinkedIn. So feel free to connect with me. And again, a big thank you and a lot of gratitude to all. Yeah, that's it. Over to you, Sharad.
Yeah,
I'm taking the
thanks,
sharing
Supriya.
from you,
Sure,
Supriya.
sure, sure.
Right.
So as a token of appreciation, we would like to facilitate. Sorry, I think I have shared wrong one.
If you want me to share, I can share.
I'm sharing it once again.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Supriya, for the wonderful session on the product psychology that meets AI. This is as part of SL's Agile Gurus token of appreciation for you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. Thanks, Supriya, for a great session. What a way of presentation. Yeah. Too much, too much
Thank you.
information loaded, excellent presentation, lots of information with respect to the product, principles, then, product driven decision making, how you can, drive AI through the products, right? And you have cleared the myths, right? Few myths, like is AI going to take away our jobs, which is super critical. People keep on reading the articles, but still they don't get clarity. There's a fear in their mind. But you have provided some clarity and confidence over there. Really an amazing session. I think these are the kind of sessions which people look for, right? And come to the summit. What a
Thank you.
power pack.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate
And
those.
I want
Really, really
Satish
kind of you.
also to share his thoughts before we get
Definitely,
to
like it was a wonderful session. It gave a lot of insights, and obviously we can't expect any of the speakers to complete everything within 45 minutes. So this is acting as like a initial touch base or the starting point for the participants to generate that interest and make sure they start learning or going through that journey. That helps a lot for all the participants and even for us, right? So as we are going through the topics and the examples and the references you are giving, like you and Harbir and Chandra as well, right? So that is helping us connect to the dots and making sure look at the bigger picture and make sure we are all at the baby step 0. You are like all of you are taking at step 4 or 5 or maybe 10. So we are trying to get started, and these are helping definitely all the participants and making sure to give us a guidance and the path perspective. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let me quickly share my screen.